Might be.
Oh, God! Her frightened eyes stared through the thick tar as it baked itself into her matted fur. Beauty had never looked so happy. Yeah! That's a good one. The forest lay quiet and gloomy before him, the only sound coming from his paws, breaking open the fresh sheet of snow that covered the ground which he was prowling over. The forest lay quiet and gloomy before him, the only sound coming from his paws, breaking open the fresh sheet of snow that covered the ground he was prowling over. Any problems? Anyone? None at all. It's perfectly fine. What do you think this character is?
Predator.
Predator? How many legs?
Four. Wolf.
Yeah, you just assume that straight away. Do you know exactly why?
I would assume it's him, actually.
Why? There's no wrong answer. I mean, I'm asking this
Oh,
question.
no,
I went to 4 straight away, but there's no
I
reason
guess
for that.
There's a couple of things that I can pick out. First of all, there's the implication of barefoot.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say his shoes breaking through, it says
Yeah.
Now, gives the impression of being feral, because only something that is wild and feral is going out into the snow with bare feet.
Besides which, most two-legged predators either fly like birds, or they're cold-blooded, or they've been dead 65 million years.
No. I meant bipedal, anthropoid. You know what I mean. Don't be silly. By the way,
No, I did not.
For anyone who's not been
You can't write stories about velociraptors, and don't tell me you can't.
I'll just think it. Hey, just as a
But even when you say that, the images that the books evoke are basically an icon, because of the very strong imagery that they have. You can immediately identify that this creature is wrong.
Well, let's look at the other example, and I'd actually like to get some more engagement from this side of the room. So I'm sorry I interrupted you, because I completely defeated my own purpose over here. Let's look at, so he's totally right when he talks about that if you see an image of Frankenstein's monster, it's not actually Frankenstein, obviously. It's horrifying, but what about Dracula? And I mean the classic image of Dracula. You know, what was his name? Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi, exactly. The classic image of Dracula with his cape and the collar turned up and the red and the suit and the hair slicked back, or was it forward and bowl cut? But what would you say that carries the same kind of impact that this patchwork man would have to someone who is not familiar with the cultural context, that's not familiar with what Dracula is or what a vampire is?
They immediately grab it old, I think.
They what?
They see this was an old man, or at least an older man. When you describe it, that the image that brings to mind is a yuppie, or someone who's trying to regain his youth almost.
Yeah.
They get that at least, but I don't think they get much else.
Do you think it
So
might
not so the undead 1,000 years old who sucks blood for a living.
Yeah, you'd see the fangs, so that might be a bit scary, but on the
We're
whole...
doing the classical image, because in the classical image the sort of very big inch-long fangs, weren't they invented later?
It's been a while since I've read the original. Well, I say original, but obviously it's the first published and longest lasting. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Does anyone here know?
Has anybody here read Dracula at least recently, in the past 3 years? Not recently.
Okay, so if you say that it's not in there, then it's not in there. The same way that I believe it's never mentioned in the Bible that angels have wings. They don't. They can fly. They don't have wings. It's, I believe, Egyptian imagery that was sort of co-opted. Anyway, I know very little about this subject, but I do believe, and this is just me, and you can disagree, that while the Patchwork Man would be horrifying to anyone, Dracula is kind of silly as an image, without the context of the grotesque Gothic castle and the flashing bolts of lightning. It's silly. You need the cultural context, you need the background, and you need suspension of disbelief, which is what we willingly do for these moody horror films and in stories as well. You know, you start with a dark and stormy night, and you go from there. Oh my God, we have to take a little bit of a sidetrack here. Dark and stormy night. Does anyone here know the Bullwer-Lytton contest? Yeah. I see some eager nodding faces. Why don't you explain to the good people here what the Bullwer-Lytton contest is all about?
Okay, you've got to think of the worst possible opening line. Worst possible opening line for your story.
Worst or best? So yeah, it's a challenge for writing opening lines, one sentence to a story, and it comes from a man called something Bullwer-Lytton. I'm actually going to have to look up the quote. Let's see if we get Wi-Fi in here. You didn't? Okay, well we give it up. It was a dark and stormy night. That's how his book opened. And sheets of rain pelted the slate roofs of nighttime London and blah, blah, blah. He goes on for an entire paragraph. And it's so over the top. I can't believe that I didn't add that in here, but it's so over the top in terms of the imagery that he evokes. It's just, I mean, it's like a cake frosted with chocolate and strawberries and marzipan and anchovies and peanut butter and jam and soot and more jam and just this ludicrous. Like
that sounds delicious.
Yeah. Buy another toothbrush. For everyone, baby, come on. But yeah, so the contest is about creating opening lines that... huh? You don't want to share with the rest of the class? Give those people some candy. We need to engage them. Seriously, pass it back there.
candy.
You don't know what's in there. So.
Yay!
Actually, this is a bit fun that we can have. Who's got pen and paper? Let's do this. Who's got pen and paper? Because I don't. We're going to do a mini Bullwer-Lytton contest right here. What? Oh yeah. If you have any other kind of writing device, please use it. We're going to have a mini Bullwer-Lytton contest. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to create a fantastic opening line to a story. Seriously, we're fucking doing this. Come on, guys. Let's hustle. Unless you seriously don't want to, in which case that's fine. Sit there and quietly judge. Yeah, I can see you smiling, yeah. I broke the stone man.
This sentence can be about anything at all.
No, it can only be about the three things that I'm thinking of. And if you get it wrong, you get a smack. Of course, it can be about anything at all. But it's going to be the opening line to a story. If you want to make it really good, that's totally fine. We're going to start to take it seriously. If you want to make it really silly, go for it. I mean, the example that I gave, the ebony ribbon of oil spilled carelessly across a blah, 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 blah. All right, are we getting close? Just a little more.
Yes, teacher.
Oh dear. What kind of imagery does that evoke? One question. Did anyone use an interrobang? Wasted opportunity, guys. Come on, we've got to resurrect this bit of punctuation because otherwise it's going to die on us. Pass them around and bring them forward.
There's no character for it.
Yeah. I'm going to assume this is normally, not everyone in here, their first language is English. They say that for society to function normally, every person needs a single dominant personality characteristic. But what if you're not born with that? Could have used an interrobang. They say that for society to function normally, every person needs a single dominant personality characteristic. But what if you're not born with that? What do we think?
Yeah. Unexpected.
I know, it's a bit confrontational, isn't it? Good opening for I mean, what kind of a story does it suggest?
Personal tale.
Personal.
Psychological, maybe.
Yeah.
Brainwashing and conformity.
Ah, that's a bit more specific.
That suggests to me one of those newish sci-fi ones.
Newish sci-fi one.
Yeah, is they always love fitting psychology into the reasons behind the sci-fi.
Alright, yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't read a whole lot at all these
No, I'm
days.
talking
So.
movies like Cypher, like the new iRobot, like.
Yeah. All right. As if here's a good. As if somebody had flipped a switch, the singing of the birds suddenly stopped, and an eerie silence fell over the forest. The forest of blood and death. That's a good one. Blood and death isn't in there, by the way. That's it. But yeah. As if someone flipped a switch, the singing of the birds suddenly stopped and eerie silence fell over the forest. It's good. You start off with this suggestion of a pretty sudden event. As if someone flipped a switch, and then the singing of the birds, which is pleasant, and nice, and happy, suddenly disappeared, and an eerie quiet fell over the forest. You're immediately ready to see the tentacled monster crawling through the trees. The stars enlightened the high balcony, some moonlight made at the royal palace, looking in the dark. Areas that the palace tell us possibly are. Oh, he crossed all that shit out. Okay. Seriously, it's no offense to anyone here. I'm just having a little trouble with it. The high noise at metal hitting the stone disturbed the nearby potato silence. No, I'm sorry. Whoever this is, please don't take offense. Oh, this is very nice handling. The rain, unusually hot for September, slicked down his fur and ran down his eyes, obscuring his view of his target as she approached. He tightened his grip on the pistol under his jacket, and he used a semicolon to cheat. Because they're basically two distinct clauses, but okay. We're going to let that slide because Bullwer-Lytton did the same. Semicolon. The rain, unusually hot for September, slicked down. What do we like about this one? The rain, unusually hot for September, slicked down his fur and ran into his eyes, obscuring his view of the target as she approached. He tightened his grip with the pistol under his jacket. What do we like?
Paints the scene almost immediately. You've got that scene right in your mind's eye within that first sentence.
Target has a lot of connotation.
Well, it becomes very clear once he grips the gun.
Yeah.
What's missing? What piece of information do we desperately need in here that isn't in there?
Who this character is.
No, that's not necessarily that important. Are there other people around? Are they, is it, clearly he's outside, otherwise it wouldn't be raining. But a major thing that we need in this bit, in this sentence, is to know if there's anyone around, because those are worlds apart. Is this a public execution, or has he been stalking her? And it's not a criticism of the opening line at all. It's a very good opening line. This is just an example of kind of.
You just need a second semicolon.
One more semicolon. Okay. Well, Two large shadows glided over the plain surface of the mountain lake. Perfect. Simple, clear. It doesn't ask any question. It doesn't answer. Although, of course, it creates curiosity about what the two large shadows are for. Do any of us have any assumptions what two large shadows may be that glide over the plain surface of the mountain lake?
UFOs.
Right down. Could be boring, but I would say madness.
Two mountains
No, in the sunset.
gliding over.
Shadow.
Yes, you're boring.
It's not Avatar. I assume.